What if I told you that the sunscreen you've trusted your whole life may not be enough to save you? Shocking, right? For decades we've been told to lather it on and we'll be safe under the sun. But the truth is darker and far more dangerous than most people realize. Every time you step outside, invisible rays are piercing your skin, twisting your DNA and silently setting the stage for wrinkles, premature aging, and even cancer. And the most terrifying part, you may already be carrying the scars of sun damage without even knowing it. Think back to your carefree beach days, those long afternoons by the pool, or even just a quick walk on a sunny morning. Did you ever wonder if those moments of warmth and light might someday cost you more than just a painful sunburn? Welcome to the Wellness Way, where we uncover the truths about your body that no one else dares to tell you. Today we're pulling back the curtain on the real reason sunscreen alone can't protect you, and what you must do to truly defend your skin. If you're ready to learn the secrets that could literally save your life, stick with us to the very end. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button to support the channel so we can keep bringing you the powerful insights you deserve. I used to believe that as long as I put on sunscreen before stepping outside, I was safe. It felt like common sense. The commercials said it, the magazines said it, and doctors repeated it like a mantra. Sunscreen was the shield, the magic layer between me and the blazing sun. But then I stumbled on a truth that hit me like a punch in the gut. Sunscreen is not the whole story. It's not a perfect shield, and trusting it alone could be one of the riskiest mistakes we make with our health. When I first learned this, I didn't want to believe it. I thought it was just fear-mongering or exaggeration. But the science is clear. Every time we step outside, the sun bombards us with two types of ultraviolet rays, UVA and UVB. These rays are invisible, silent and relentless. And they don't care if you're fair-skinned or dark-skinned, young or old, rich or poor. They penetrate your skin, they twist your DNA, and they plant seeds of damage that can take years to fully reveal themselves. Sunscreen can reduce the risk, but it cannot erase it. Let's talk about UVA first. It makes up about 95% of the UV light that reaches us. 95%. That means almost every second you're outside, you're soaking it in. UVA is often called the aging ray because it doesn't burn you on the spot the way UVB does. Instead, it creeps deeper, slipping past the surface layer of your skin, sneaking into the middle layers where collagen and elastin live. Those fibers are what keep your skin firm, tight, and youthful. UVA shreds them over time. The result? Wrinkles that appear earlier than you expected, sagging skin that no cream can truly reverse, and a tired, weathered look even if you're still young. Sunscreen helps, but here's the catch. Not all sunscreens block UVA well. Many are designed to stop burns, not aging. Then there's UVB, the notorious burning ray. UVB is more direct, more aggressive and more painful. It's the one responsible for that fiery red sunburn that makes you wince when you move. But the burn is just the beginning. UVB rays slam into your skin cells and cause mutations in your DNA. Imagine the instructions that tell your cells how to behave getting scrambled, letters switched around, whole sentences rewritten incorrectly. Most of the time, your body's repair systems fix the damage, but not always. Sometimes the mistakes linger, sometimes they stack up over years, and sometimes they turn into something deadly, skin cancer. I wish I could say that was rare. It's not. More than 2 people die from skin cancer every single hour in the United States. And the heartbreaking part is that most of these deaths are preventable. The science is painfully clear. 90% of skin cancers are caused by ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Think about that. 9 out of 10 cases could potentially be avoided if we understood and respected the danger we face. Here's another fact that rattled me. Just 5 blistering sunburns between the ages of 15 and 20 increase your lifetime risk of melanoma by 80%. That's not a typo. 80%. Suddenly, I thought back to my teenage years when I spent long summer days at the beach without a second thought. Sunscreen? Sometimes I used it, sometimes I didn't. I told myself, oh, it's cloudy today, I'll be fine. Or, I'll just tan a little, it's harmless. I never once considered that those carefree choices could be silently scripting a future battle with cancer. And here's the most chilling part. Melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer, doesn't need much time to become life-threatening. It starts in melanocytes, the pigment-producing cells in your skin. Once those cells mutate, they can grow uncontrollably, and unlike other types of skin cancer, they spread quickly. They can reach the blood vessels in your dermis and hitch a ride to your lungs, liver, or brain. Early detection gives you a 99% chance of survival. But catch it late, and the odds crash. When I realized all of this, I couldn't help but feel betrayed by my own assumptions. I thought sunscreen was the answer. I thought reapplying it on the beach was enough. But the truth is, sunscreen is just one piece of the puzzle. It's like wearing a seatbelt but driving without brakes. You're safer than without it. But you're far from invincible. So what does this mean for you and me? It means we need to rethink how we face the sun. Sunscreen is necessary, yes. It's essential. But it cannot be your only defense. You need to choose a broad-spectrum sunscreen that protects against both UVA and UVB. You need to apply it generously, more than most people use, and reapply every 2 hours, even on cloudy days, because up to 80% of UV rays can still penetrate clouds. You need SPF 30 for daily life and SPF 50 if you're spending real time outdoors. But beyond sunscreen, you need hats, sunglasses and clothing that physically block the sun. You need to seek shade during peak hours between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. You need to respect the sun like you would respect fire. Warmth and light are wonderful, but they can also burn down everything if you're careless. I'll be honest. This was hard for me to accept. It felt like admitting that I had been wrong for years, that I had been reckless with my own health. But the more I learned, the more I realized it wasn't about regret. It was about responsibility. The past is gone. I can't undo those sunburns from my youth. But I can act now. I can protect my skin from further damage. I can check my skin regularly for new moles or spots that look unusual. I can go to a dermatologist when something doesn't seem right. And here's something powerful to remember. Even though the sun is dangerous, knowledge is power. Every step you take to protect yourself lowers your risk. Every time you apply sunscreen properly, every time you choose shade over direct sunlight, every time you wear a hat or sunglasses, you're making an investment in your future self. You're not just avoiding wrinkles, you're potentially saving your life. So yes, sunscreen is important, but it is not enough. It was never enough. And now that I know, I can never go back to seeing it as the magic solution. The truth is scarier than the marketing slogans, but it's also empowering. Because with the truth, I have the tools to protect myself. And so do you. When I started learning about sun damage, I thought it was just about what I could see on the surface. Burns, tans, maybe a few freckles. But the deeper I looked, the more I realized how misleading that view was. The real story of sun damage isn't just about what shows up on the outside. It's about what happens beneath the surface. in the hidden layers of our skin where we never think to look. Once I understood that, everything about how I see the sun and how I treat my own skin changed forever. Imagine for a moment that we could peel back our skin and look inside. At first, we'd find the epidermis, the outermost layer, so thin it's about the width of a single sheet of paper. It may look fragile, but it's constantly working. This is where keratinocytes live, cells that divide and renew, creating a protective barrier. Tucked among them are melanocytes, the pigment-producing cells. These are like little guardians, creating melanin to absorb some of the UV rays that try to sneak through. When they work well, they give us a shield. But when they malfunction under stress from UV exposure, they can produce too much pigment, leaving behind age spots. Or worse, they can mutate, setting the stage for melanoma. Just below that lies the dermis, and this is where things get even more interesting and more terrifying. The dermis is thick, strong, and full of life. It's packed with collagen and elastin, the fibers that keep your skin smooth, firm, and elastic. It also houses blood vessels, nerves, sweat glands, and hair follicles. In short, it's the engine room of your skin. But here's the cruel truth. UVA rays, the ones that make up the vast majority of UV light, slip right past the epidermis and sink deep into the dermis. And they don't just stop there. They wreak havoc by generating free radicals, unstable molecules that bounce around like pinballs, stealing electrons, breaking down collagen, damaging elastin, and even harming DNA. Over time, this slow destruction shows up as wrinkles, sagging, and skin that looks far older than your years. And then there's the hypodermis, a layer made mostly of fat and connective tissue. It cushions, insulates, and stores energy. You might think of it as the safety net at the bottom of the skin. But when the layers above are under constant attack, even the hypodermis can't escape the long-term effects. It's not just a cosmetic issue, it's a breakdown of the very structure that protects your body. Now let's step back and talk about what these UV rays really do. UVB rays, with their shorter wavelength and higher energy, are like the flamethrowers of the sun. They attack the epidermis head-on, burning it, twisting DNA into abnormal shapes called pyrimidine dimers. These are tiny mutations, but they're dangerous because they can pile up, slipping past your body's repair systems and creating the beginnings of cancer. UVA rays, with their longer wavelength, sneak deeper, and instead of a fiery assault, they sabotage from within, creating oxidative stress that weakens your skin's foundation day after day. For a long time, I thought darker skin was naturally safe. After all, more melanin means more protection, right? That's partly true. Darker skin does absorb more UV rays, reducing the risk of burns. But it doesn't make you invincible. People with darker skin can still get sunburns, still experience DNA damage, and still develop skin cancer. The danger just doesn't always show as quickly. On the other hand, fairer skin burns faster because it has less melanin, making the damage obvious sooner. But in both cases, the danger is there. Genetics, altitude, time of day, even certain medications, all of these can increase your sensitivity and make your skin more vulnerable than you realize. What shook me the most was learning how sunburn itself works. That redness and sting isn't just heat, it's an inflammatory cascade. UVB rays hit your cells, damage their DNA, and your body responds by flooding the area with cytokines and other messengers, dilating blood vessels and sending fluid rushing in. That's why your skin feels hot, red, and tender. In severe cases, blisters form as fluid builds up between the epidermis and dermis. It's not just discomfort. It's your body screaming that your largest organ has been injured on a cellular level. And those injuries don't just fade when the redness goes away. They leave a memory in your skin, a permanent record of damage. Scientists now know that repeated burns weaken the skin's immune system, making it harder for your body to detect and destroy mutated cells. That's why people with a history of multiple sunburns are at such high risk for skin cancer later in life. When I think about all this, I can't help but reflect on my own past. I remember summer vacations when I stayed out on the beach for hours, skin sizzling, only caring about whether I'd tan or burn. I thought aloe vera gel was the solution, a way to soothe the burn until it faded. But aloe doesn't erase DNA mutations. It doesn't fix collagen that's been shredded. It doesn't undo the free radicals ricocheting through your dermis. The damage was done, invisible, accumulating like hidden debt that one day comes due. But this isn't just about fear. It's about awareness and prevention. Once you understand what's happening beneath the surface, you realize how powerful your choices can be. Broad-spectrum sunscreen is essential because it's the only kind that blocks both UVA and UVB. Physical sunscreens with zinc oxide or titanium dioxide literally sit on the skin and reflect rays like a mirror. Chemical sunscreens soak up UV energy and release it as harmless heat. Both work, but only if you apply them properly. That means 30 minutes before going outside, enough to cover every exposed area, and reapplying every 2 hours, more often if you're swimming or sweating. But here's the part that truly stuck with me. Sunscreen alone is never enough. You need layers of defense, just like your skin has layers. Hats, sunglasses, long sleeves, shade during peak hours, all of these are just as important as the lotion in your bag. And don't forget vigilance. Check your skin regularly for new or changing spots, and don't hesitate to see a doctor. Skin cancer, when caught early, is one of the most treatable cancers. Waiting too long is what makes it deadly. Every time I walk outside now, I see the sun differently. It's still beautiful, still life-giving, but it's also a force to be respected. My skin is more than just a surface. It's a living, breathing shield that protects me every day, and it deserves my protection in return. The more I learned about ultraviolet light, the more it felt like I was uncovering a hidden enemy I had underestimated for years. The statistics are chilling. Up to 90% of all skin cancers are linked directly to UV radiation. That means 9 out of 10 cases might never have happened if people had been better protected. And yet, every single day, millions of us still step outside unprepared, armed only with half-truths and misplaced confidence in sunscreen alone. The risk is not just theory, it's real, it's measurable, and it's personal. Studies have shown that just 5 blistering sunburns during your teenage years can raise your lifetime risk of melanoma by 80%. Think about that. 5 careless afternoons in the sun can leave you carrying an invisible time bomb that could go off decades later. For some people, that bomb goes off in their 30s or 40s, long before they expect to face a deadly disease. For others, it strikes even earlier. Melanoma is especially terrifying because it doesn't play by the same rules as other skin cancers. Basal cell carcinoma and squamous cell carcinoma, while serious, usually grows slowly and can often be treated successfully if caught early. Melanoma, on the other hand, spreads quickly. It begins in the melanocytes, the cells that give our skin its color, and then pushes deeper into the dermis where blood vessels lie. From there, cancerous cells can travel through the bloodstream to the lungs, the liver, even the brain. Suddenly, what started as a small mole or spot on the surface can turn into a fight for your life. And yet, there's a paradox here that still gives me hope. Skin cancer is also one of the most visible cancers. Unlike other diseases hidden deep in the body, this one shows itself right on the surface. That means, with awareness and vigilance, we have the chance to catch it early. And if melanoma is detected early, the 5-year survival rate is nearly 99%. That's not just good news, it's a lifeline. The key is paying attention, not brushing off changes in your skin, and understanding that prevention and early action can literally save your life. This is where I had to confront my own habits. I used to ignore the warning signs. A new mole? Probably nothing. A spot that looked darker than usual? I'll check it later. But later is dangerous when it comes to skin cancer. Now I look at my skin differently. I check it regularly. I notice changes and I don't dismiss them. It's not about paranoia. It's about respect for the reality of what I know now. But awareness alone is not enough. Prevention has to be part of daily life. Yes, sunscreen is critical, but it's not the only shield. It's about combining layers of protection, the same way your skin itself is layered. I think of it like building a fortress. Sunscreen is the wall, but what good is a wall without gates, guards, and a watchtower? Hats, sunglasses, long sleeves, and seeking shade during peak hours are all parts of the defense system. Even simple changes like planning outdoor activities earlier in the morning or later in the evening can dramatically cut down exposure to harmful rays. And here's another truth I had to accept. UV damage doesn't care about the weather. Clouds can block visible light, but up to 80% of UV rays still pass through. That means even on an overcast day, your skin is still absorbing radiation. I used to laugh at people who wore sunscreen when it was cloudy. Now I realize they were the smart ones. The consequences of ignoring this go beyond the individual. Skin cancer is one of the most common cancers in the world, and the cost, in both human suffering and medical expenses, is staggering. Yet, because it is largely preventable, every new case feels like a tragedy that could have been avoided. Imagine the difference if more people truly understood the risks, if more parents protected their children's skin during those critical teenage years, if more of us took the time to reapply sunscreen and wear protective clothing. At the same time, I don't want to paint the sun as only an enemy. It gives us warmth, light, and vitamin D. It lifts our mood and fuels life on Earth. The goal isn't to hide indoors forever. The goal is balance. Learning how to enjoy the benefits of the sun without paying the price of its dangers. It's about making smarter choices, not fearful ones. For me, that balance means walking in the mornings or evenings instead of midday, wearing a wide-brimmed hat at the beach, and carrying sunscreen in my bag like I carry my phone. Small actions, but powerful ones. And there's something deeper here too. Protecting our skin is about more than vanity or even survival. It's about respecting the body we live in. Our skin is our largest organ, our first line of defense, and the barrier that holds us together. Taking care of it is not optional, it's essential. Every time we choose to protect it, we're choosing to value ourselves, to prioritize our future, and to recognize that health is not something to gamble with. As I reflect on all this, one question keeps echoing in my mind. How many people will look back years from now and regret the sunburns they shrugged off? How many will wish they had listened to the warnings, taken the small steps, and protected themselves? That's why I share this, not just as information, but as a personal conviction. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And once you understand the risks, You have the power to change your story. So I'll leave you with this. The sun is not your enemy, but it is not harmless. It is a force to be respected, a source of life that can also take life away if you underestimate it. The question is, will you take that seriously, or will you let a few carefree afternoons cost you years of health? I know my answer. What about you? When I look back at everything I've learned about the sun, sunscreen, and the hidden dangers of UV radiation, one truth stands out. We've underestimated the power of something we see every single day. The sun gives us life, but it can also take it away in the most subtle and devastating ways. What begins as a tan, a freckle, or a sunburn can over years become wrinkles, spots, or even skin cancer. And all too often the warning signs are ignored until it's too late. But here's the paradox. Skin cancer is both one of the most common and one of the most preventable cancers. That means the choices we make every single day matter more than we realize. Sunscreen helps, but it's only part of the solution. Hats, sunglasses, long sleeves, seeking shade and staying mindful of the hours we spend in the sun. These simple habits can change the trajectory of our future health. Early detection is just as critical. A few minutes checking your skin regularly can make the difference between a simple treatment and a life-threatening diagnosis. For me, the biggest lesson is humility. I used to think I was smarter than nature, that a bottle of sunscreen was enough to outsmart the sun. Now, I see things differently. Protecting my skin isn't about fear, it's about respect. Respect for the body I've been given, respect for the science that warns us, and respect for the future I want to live to see. I've learned that prevention is not paranoia, it's wisdom. And wisdom means acting before the damage is done. In my daily life, that means making sunscreen part of my routine, like brushing my teeth. It means choosing shade when I can, and not treating protective clothing as an inconvenience but as an investment in myself. It means watching my skin with care, because no one else will notice those changes as quickly as I can. Most importantly, it means remembering that health is not something I can gamble with. Every small choice adds up, and maybe that's the takeaway for all of us. The sun isn't going anywhere, and neither are we. The relationship we have with it will always be part of our lives. But whether that relationship is one of careless harm or careful balance, that's up to us. So let me ask you, how do you protect yourself when you're out in the sun? Do you rely on sunscreen alone, or have you built a routine that truly defends your skin? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments so we can all learn from each other. And if you found this message valuable, don't forget to subscribe to The Wellness Way. Your support helps us continue creating content that empowers you to take control of your health and your future. Together we can make smarter choices, and those choices might just save lives.